Alright, let's do this. Raging Loop. Raging Boner. Yeah, you told me. I remember. Moving the mouse though so I can actually see this fully. I couldn't see the last word. There's no such thing as... Oh, okay. I like the music. Damn, he rides a motorcycle too? He's just like Kyo. For real, for real. Yeah. It goes hard if you think about it. Fat Man. I don't know who's evil, but you know what? Fat Man did it. Hey look, there's a tomboy. Sayori! Nice. Kagayoshi. No squared. Hey, the title screen. Wait. But... Oh, right, yeah. Oh, hey, she's cute. I like her.
ようこそノベルアドベンチャーゲームレイジングループの世界へ
I like her
私
voice.
は単なるどれに足らないインターフェース的キャラクターです
I don't believe you.
そうですねリカコとでもお呼びくださいここでは初めてプレイなさる皆様にこのゲームの遊び方を簡単にご説明いたしたいと存じます
She really is just Kula from King of
最初
Fighters.
はぜひとも全部の説明をお読みいただきたいと思います特に動画配信をなさる方は4動画や写真についてだけでも必ずお読みくださいね最後まで読んでいただけたら私のセクシーな画像が
We do live in a society.
世間は厳しゅうございます
Okay.
さめざめさて何からご説明いたしましょう
Alright. Look at... I guess I should look at all of these.
レイジングループはノベルアドベンチャーゲームというジャンルでございます
Oh, it turned off auto. Okay, hold on.
小説のように文章で物語が綴られ読んで楽しむゲームです世に言う人狼ゲームと深く関係する物語ではありますが人狼ゲームそのものではないので
Werewolf and Mafia, huh? Never actually heard of those.
スーパー人工知能リカコ20人と永遠の人狼ゲームを楽しめるとご期待された方すみません
I weep and bleed for you, truly. Okay.
もちろんただの小説ではございません時折現れる
Ah, shit. Right, it does pause. There
選
we go.
択肢によって物語が変化するすごい小説なのですキャラクターたちが生き生きと描写され生き生きとボイスを喋ります作品世界に没頭できること受け合いですせっかくの声をお楽しみになるためや突如絶叫が響き渡らないためにイヤホンなどされるのも良いかと
Alright, time to bring out the speakers.
とっても大ボリュームな物語ですので没頭しすぎて数日徹夜なんてことになるやも注意くださいねなお
They're calling me out twice already.
レイジングループは架空の殺人事件 恐怖事件を扱ったお話です。サスペンス、スリラー、ホラー、そして謎に挑み解決するお話がお好きなあなたにぴったりの物語。もちろんこの物語は作り事で、実際の人物や団体や思想や事件などとは一切関係がございません。作中の学問知識、歴史、宗教、神話、科
Aw,
学、医
damn.
学等の知識は創作を含みます。テストに書いたら0点です。サメサメ。
Unfortunate.
そして描かれる犯罪や惨劇については
Hmm.
現実のそんな行為を推奨する意図など全くございません。そん
Damn,
な
they
感
called
じ
me
で
out a third
現
time.
実との区別をしっかりおつけになったらもう大丈夫。本作を思いっきり楽しんでくださいね。
Damn, they called me out a fourth time. It's just not doing auto. Okay, there we go. How about special functions?
レイジングループの独特な機能について説明いたしますね。
God damn it.
レ
Stop
イジング
turning
ル
off
ー
my
プの
auto.
ストーリーは複雑に分岐しております。どう分岐したのか管理するのは大変かもしれません。
That's pretty cool.
でも心配無用。本作ではシナリオチャートという便利機能が採用されています。メニューを開けばチャートという機能にいつでもアクセスでき、そこからシナリオの全図が見られるのです。さらにこのシナリオチャートを使えば入ったことのあるチャプターにいつでもどこでもどこからでも移動が可能。もう選択肢では必ずセーブとは申しません。これでいつでも選択肢は選び直せますのでご心配なく。シナリオチャート機能についてはまた後でもう一度使いどころの説明がありますのでよくわからなくても大丈夫ですよ。次にキーについて。レイジングループの物語分岐はすべて選択肢を選んだ瞬間に発生いたします。後から聞くものは存在しません。その代わりいくつかの選択肢はキーと呼ばれる特定の情報がないと
Oh, okay.
開くことができません。このキーを探すことこそ
Damn, I can't believe this is a
レイジングループ
Metroidvania
の
visual
大き
novel.
な目的だと言えるでしょう。その探し方は実際に手に入った時に説明があるそうですのでご心配なく。ちなみに一度キーを入手して解放されたルートはセーブデータと関係なく
Neat.
開きっぱなしになります。逆に言うとキーが未入手の状態にはロードしても戻れません。
Neat?
それで
Neat?
読めなくなる文章はありませんので
Okay.
あまり困ることはないと思いますがご承知くださいね。キーがない状態に戻して遊びたいという既得なお方には全データを初期化する手もあります。ご利用は計画的に。
Ah, okay.
独特な機能に加えレイジングループにはノベルゲームとして基本
It
的な
doesn't
機
read
能
the
が
tutorials for a
一通り揃っています。
strategy RPG. Reads the tutorials for a basic VN.
テキストウィンドウを隠すバックログロード
That's exactly why.
セーブ
That's
既読文章
exactly
のスキ
fucking
ップ
why.
次の選択肢までスキップ。ロードやセーブはだいたい普通の仕組みです。オートセーブ機能もあるにはありますが新しいチャプターに入るたびにセーブするだけなので頻繁にはセーブされません。霧のいいところまで読むかシナリオチャートをご利用いただくか手動セーブを活用してくださいね。次にオプション設定について。メニューから開けるオプション設定からは
Option
音量調
select.
整やテキスト表示スピード調整など様々な設定が可能です。ただ全部説明すると皆様がお眠になってしまわれるのであとは他の説明書きや誰かさんの追加説明をお読みください。お願いいたしますね誰かさん。
Alright, now for the scary part.
レイジングループはノベルゲーム。物語や展開やオチはとても大事。ですから、それらすべてを配信されてしまいますと、とても困ってしまいます。さめざめ、さめざめ。かといって、お楽しみは大勢で分け合いたいもの。それは重々承知しております。というわけで、私どもは動画配信していただける範囲を設定しております。ちなみにその範囲は、最初のメインル
I
ート
guarantee you
丸ごと1本、プ
There
ラ
are
スアルフ
people
ァ。
that have already
具体
broken
的
this
に
rule.
はシナリオチャート上の4、潜入
Okay.
の9、入村方法はで、選
I'm
択肢が
sorry,
出るまでは
Rikako. This is a really old game, and
相当な
plenty of
長さが
people,
ございますので、
plenty of
配
people
信
have
の
already
間
broken
に
this rule.
しばらく困ることはないと保証いたします。むしろ全文読み上げる派の配信主様は喉が潰れないか心配です。無理はなさらずゆったりお楽しみくださいね。
It's
ち
okay.
なみに動
I
画
spent
配信
4
の
hours
折に
reading a
は
certain
お知らせ機
part
能
of
を
a
ぜひとも
game
ご利用
that I
くだ
liked
さいま
out
せ。
loud and
この
voice
後
acting
現
it.
れ
It
る
was
選
fucking
択肢で
horrible.
お知らせ機能をオン
It
に
was great.
していただ
I'll
いた
never
場
forget
合、
it.
動画配信終了のタイミングで突然謎の羊が出現。ここまでよとお知らせいたします。
Well, good thing I
そ
eat
こで
sheep.
収録はお開きとしていただき、あとは考察やら議論やらをお楽しみいただければ幸いの極みでございます。ちなみに今はオフの状態ですよ。
You know what? I want it on just so I can ignore it.
はい、オンにいたしました。また切り替えたいときは
Ooh,
Zero.
okay.
導入のここに来てくださいね。
Alright, time to start the MSQ.
ふうふう、とても長くなってしまいました。ここまでお読みいただき誠にありがとう存じます。それではいよいよ物語の始まりです。限りなく濃い霧と血煙の向こう、繰り返される絶望と悲嘆の果て、人狼村の真実をどうかその目でご覧くださいませ。ペコリ。
I wonder how many people played this game and were like, I want to fuck the werewolves. Oh, right, I'm supposed to. Fuck. Okay. Oh, it's okay. I'm not gonna go back and read that. That's fine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed it down and deployed the kickstand. Damn, they really do just not voice the thoughts for the most part. Well, shit, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no... I don't know what that is. Oh, satellite navigator. Okay. Sat-nav on me. So GPS. Why did they say sat-nav? Wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the roads, so I figured I wouldn't get lost. But now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket journal, and then pulled out a map. Suddenly, a rush of memories flitted into my mind. Oh. I need a key, I see, already. I somehow kept myself from remembering those things. Damn, selective memory. After all, I'd gone on this trip to forget. Oh, okay. So I can't press that to advance. Is there a different button? Because I just don't want to keep clicking my mouse.
あ
Ah,
あ、
there we go.
もう、やめやめ。目の前の現実を直視。人生はシンプル。つまりこの道のごとく、真っ暗で道案内もなく、進むか返すか。考えることはそれだけ。
Yeah, he's about as stupid as Kyo is. Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I'd just move forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Well, don't bring a Greek map then. Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersections I'd been passing through, and that it had taken me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Holy shit, Neo too. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. This is just that tank from yesterday. They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped the scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides the asphalt below, my sweet ride, and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. What do you mean? You're made by man. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was.
進むか。
I'd go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just camp at the side of the road. Two hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. This mountain road had no side to camp on. A dump truck I'd passed barely even fit on it. I'd also had my first close encounters with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars and 3 deer in those 2 hours alone. One of the deer had run parallel to my bike while intently staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that, but for some reason I could feel a tightness in my pants. I'd felt like it could smell my fear, and did it just to make it worse. How dare that thing do that to a human? We're the kings of this planet, damn it. I'll have to remember to eat some venison once I get back to civilization. Anyway, camping out here is a bad idea. I'd end up as either roadkill, animal food, or a deer fucker. Don't worry, the main character doesn't actually want to fuck deer, I just thought it would be really funny. And yet, I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. After all, who wants to fuck a deer? That was actually the reason why my once comfortable relationship had gone awry, and why I had gone on this stupid trip. You know, I didn't know this part would come up, but this actually fits pretty well with everything else I was kind of spitting along. Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me, anyway? It'd probably be disappointing. Soon enough the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forest remained abundant though, so I still didn't see much. Even so, the streetlight and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization, and getting away from the temptation of that deer. Was streetlights the right expression for lights in a forest? I'll have to look it up. As the road grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore, too. I really had to rest. Gotta get myself a Bambi burger back in Civilization. Suddenly, I saw something unexpected. And it wasn't a Bambi burger. Powerful, colorful, artificial lights. A UFO! A convenience store? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another. Even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. Good thing I'm not riding a car. The sea of trees ended, giving room for the majestic child of our consumerist, capitalist society. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently even a damn store was a big deal for someone who'd just stepped out of the wild. It was called Fresh Marché. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look at all that old. At least, the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like this, though. Was I close to a settlement? Or did they actually make a profit off of lost travelers? I'd just ask that or something. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts. Not to mention, I was thirsty. I mean, did you see the way I looked at that deer? I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left, and... Whoa. The worker at the counter was so mean-looking it was kinda hot. She was so imposing I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some ladies' army's corps. Was that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold it actually gave me chills. Was this store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? Are my kidneys going to be stolen? Was this how this place made a profit? By taking advantage of lost people and beating them out of their money? Shit. Her lips are kinda hot. Clearly, the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I sure was excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I didn't even have to make that one up. Yeah, you know what? I'll wait. I'll wait for Pit. Understandable. Welcome back, Pit. Now we're waiting on, Welcome back to both of you. Clearly, the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I sure was excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at a magazine in her hands. Oh, so she's just a bottom. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. Ooh, OST. And 1 second, there we go. It was about what you'd expect. There was a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationery, traveling goods, sanitary stuff, condoms, etc. There were sweets that came with toys, a shelf of cup ramen and dried food, a fridge, a freezer, suspiciously devoid of Bambi burgers. It all looked normal. It was late, so the daily edition packed lunch section was completely empty. The only special thing about this place was the section full of unpacked vegetables that you'd expect to see at a greengrocer's. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this. I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything, so all in all, it was an unremarkable store. If you ignored the Marine Corps hot clerk anyway. I took a drink and brought it to the register. Yep, she really is the highlight of this place. What kind of fucking clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk, and I'd be her god, the customer.
126 円
She didn't even scan it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead! Maybe I should get mad at her?
ちょっといいですか？
あ？
実は道に迷ってしまって。
I love the way this man thinks. I quickly turned meek.
町はどっちにあるでしょうか？
I don't like the way this man thinks.
あっち。
いや、できれば地図とか。
ない。
Huh. Man, this fucking woman.
いや、そんなはずはないでしょ。コンビニなんて大体道
Women.
地図は常備してるもんでしょ。
知らねえよ。ないもんはねえ。おとなしく来た道戻れよ。
もう数時間迷ってるもんで、これ以上はちょっと。
その辺の床で寝てけば。
Damn, she's telling me to sleep on the floor. She had to be joking.
いや、お気持ちだけでいいんで、道だけちゃんと教えていただけたら。
I do like the floor. It's unironically a decent place to sleep.
ああ、もう、せえな。
Nothing can hide under it.
待ってろ。
The clerk put out her smoke in the ashtray and went to the staff-only room. She came back in no time.
あったわ。
Oh, damn. She's got the mean-looking eyes. So she did have a map. Of course she fucking did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation.
これがこの店。で、十字路を北へ行け。しばらくしたら陸橋があっから渡れ。最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっからそこを右折してあとは直線。
この道？
んだよ。
いや、この先何もなくないです。
書かれてねえだけで集落があんだよ。
そこ以外なら？
富士吉村まで行くには峠道を2時間。こっちなら30分で着く。
Well, at least we get to go somewhere 30 minutes away. Fujiyoshi seemed to be a village. Didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge, branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I'd had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again.
じゃあ、
Horrible level design. We should fire God.
ありがとうございます。
金。
はい。
払って
This
ねえ
bitch
だろ
wants money?
茶のやつ。
What tea?
ああ、じゃあ500円。
Oh. Okay. I guess the drink that I picked up was tea. I expected an energy drink, considering he said he was
お
tired.
釣りを無断で募金箱に入れるんですか？
小銭多いとうぜえだろ。
Damn. There are some people out there that are into what this lady is putting down. I am not one of those people. Give me back my fucking money. That was a hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of tea. She didn't give me a fucking bag, by the way, and left the store. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon. obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The tea tasted kind of funky and a bit carbonated. The clerk put me in a bad mood, though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. My stomach hurts. Following the directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. I probably wouldn't have noticed if it were not for the tall boulder, standing there, like a roadside shrine for some traveler deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. Maybe I'll find the deer from before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground. Tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing through a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. That, and if I turned around, I'm sure the flag would have messed up. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and its suspension was put to the greatest test yet as we basically tumbled down to the fucking bottom. The headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew that then I'd be flung out of my seat. God, I hope my testicles will be okay. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing. But that was too big a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. Good thing I'm wearing my trusty helmet. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Well, you know, it makes sense that he would consider some types of pain to be pleasant. He did let the clerk talk to him that way. An accident where I was flung out like that was a first time for me. Yeah. The launch was really something, too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. You could say that I did a flip. My breathing stopped for a moment, and the pain was so bad, I thought all my bones shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine, at least, though I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves. That and the smell of green made it pretty clear what I landed on. I pushed down and my hands sunk. This grass growth was pretty hefty. It's probably the reason why I'm alive. Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however... My poor bike. It wasn't nearly as lucky. It was lying on its side, a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept on turning, making an unpleasant fricative noise. Yep. It was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. Then turned around and threw it into the woods. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still couldn't see very clearly, but it looked like this actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on a road, it just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in mud, so there was the risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around? The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket, took out my phone, and opened it up, and immediately started Googling a recipe for Bambi burgers. As you'd expect, I was out of range. I ran the light app and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking around for, but sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps? I could hear water, too. I might be near a river.
すいません
I raised my voice.
すいません誰かいませんか
Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take a few years of our lives. That was why I figured it was best for us to both let the other know we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the rapids?
すいません
I shone my light ahead and realized I'd made it to an opening. Sure enough, there was a river. Or a stream, rather. A bloody stream. I could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach and the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people, though. No one responded to my shouting, either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off. But I figured that crossing a river barefoot at midnight was a terrible idea. But man, was it cold. I put my phone back into my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. It's too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I'd expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. Wash away the anger from this raging loop. It suddenly hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then, with an unpleasant wet sound in my every step, I walked up to the light. Unfortunately, my footing slipped. I could already see it clearly. Yep, it was a flashlight, lying on the ground for some reason. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight, or rather, until just a few moments ago. I looked around for a pair of shoes, but it doesn't seem like anyone took them off and then threw themselves into the river. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening. And yet the user was nowhere in sight, and I was near a river. Something bad happened. Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. It was the dead of night. There was no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Was there a struggle? Right, but the fact that a light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, obviously, what was going on here was a spot of midnight fishing. What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with a light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Above?
こんばんは。
Whoa! I shit myself. I heard a voice the moment I looked up, and unfortunately, as I looked up, I could feel something sliding down my leg. The rock cliff was actually made up of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them.
こんばんは。
あー、人だ。びっくりした。
That was my line.
悪いんだけど、それ取ってもらえます？
The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on.
落としたってわけですか。
I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of voice.
やん。
High-pitched voice, slender hands shielding the light, perfect for making certain things look bigger. Sure enough, it was a young woman.
眩しいな。
失礼。ちなみに、こっちはこういうものですが。
怖いです。下から照らさない。
実は、当方道に迷っており。
だとすると、割と究極的に迷ってますよ。
Yeah, thought as much.
ここって人里です。
難しい質問だな。
とりあえず助けてもらえないかと。
助ける？
雨露しのげて野生動物がいなければ何でもいいんで。
I'd like my organs where they are, thank you. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face.
じゃあ、打ちきます？
Hell yeah. And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. Place. My place. By that, she surely meant a house. A settlement.
いいんです。頼んどいてなんですが、遠慮を忘れてすがりたい程度には切羽詰まってるんですが。
え？男として？
ええ。いや違う。
No, no, I don't mean as a man. I'm not going to rape you, I promise. Jesus fucking Christ, woman.
あらら。
I just don't want to die.
もどうよって感じじゃないです？一個の生命として。
And so I was saved. Oh, the beauty of living beings looking out for each other.
じゃあ手、いいです？
ん？
ここ、一人じゃ登れないでしょ？
True. Honestly, I didn't even realize I'd have to climb up by myself. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling, though. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed it with my own left. Her slender fingers were stronger than expected. The girl's name was Chiemi Serizawa. I asked if she was related to the Shinsengumi guy, but she said that her family just adopted the name at some point in the Meiji period. She was a 21-year-old who went to a college far away from here. This was her hometown, and she was spending her post-exams vacation here. And on that, we're going to save and take a break, because I need to do something real quick. There's the save. Wow, it's one of these games. Fucking right is yes. Alrighty. We'll pick back up at a later date.